let's talk about Dodge's factory Transbrake. Specifically, how to use it, how it compares to other launch techniques, how to mess it up, and if it's even worth it, along with some video examples of all of that. For those that don't know, Dodge is the first manufacturer to offer a Transbrake in their cars from the factory. And there are actually fewer than 10,000 Dodge cars with this feature. And those are the 2018 Demon, the 2023 Demon 170, and the 1320 made from 2019 to 2023. This one being a 2020 version of a 1320. Now the Transbrake in the 1320, along with how to use it, is exactly the same between this and the 2018 Demon. The 23 Demon 170, on the other hand, does have some improvements to the system and is more commonly referred to as Transbrake 2.0. That said, this video is more about the 1320 Transbrake, and that is because this is a naturally aspirated car, whereas both Demons are supercharged, much higher horsepower versions. And building up your RPM at launch is going to affect those boosted cars differently than it will this naturally aspirated car. Now, the basics of a Transbrake is simply that the gears in the transmission get locked together, so that actually holds your car instead of your wheel brakes. Now, most Transbrakes will lock up first and reverse. Dodge decided when they put this together to lock up first and second gears, supposedly for safety reasons, so that if something were to fail, your car wouldn't accidentally go in reverse. Although I don't know how common that is to happen. Regardless. Another big difference, and this is why so many people don't like Dodge's Transbrake, is that typically you are simply holding down one single button while your foot is mashing the gas pedal all the way down to the floor, and your car knows what RPM to maintain it at, so that once you're ready to launch, all you have to do, take your finger off that button and off you go. Your foot's already down to the floor on the gas, so you don't have to worry about that at all. Dodge, on the other hand, you have to manually maintain the RPMs. So in addition to letting go of the button, or in this case steering wheel paddle, you also have to time it with mashing your foot the rest of the way down to the floor. So quick rundown, and you'll see most of these steps in your dash cluster. First thing you gotta do, put your car in drag mode. As soon as you put it in drag mode, you'll actually see a little message say, pull back both paddles to engage Transbrake or something like that. So once you're ready, pull those handles back, and then you'll get a little message that says, bring up your engine speed. So with one foot on the brake and one on the gas, start pushing it down to raise those RPMs to about 1800 or so. And you will see a little meter in your dash that kind of climbs up. It kind of tells you where you are in the range. Now at this point, you have all four of your limbs are engaged. Your left foot on the brake, your right foot on the gas, and then a paddle in each hand. Now, while you're maintaining the RPM, just let go of one of the paddles. It actually doesn't matter which one, right or left, either one works. Once you let go of one paddle, the transmission locks up its gears, and now the Transbrake is engaged. So now you can pull your left foot off the brake. And so at this point, you've got one paddle back, right foot on the gas, maintaining RPMs, and as soon as you're ready to go, you let go of that paddle and slam your foot down and time it just right, and off you go. And yeah, that's a lot. And a lot of room for error too, which we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. As it is, you don't want to wait until you're fully staged to begin that process. Otherwise, the light will turn green, your opponent's going to get a jump on you, meanwhile you're still fumbling through all these steps trying to get everything set up. So what I do, and what Dodge recommends, they'll even tell you on the dash, is wait until you get pre-staged. Once that pre-stage light comes on, then you want to pull back both handles, start the process, increase the engine speed, hold it, and then once you're in the right engine speed, the cluster actually will tell you, go ahead and proceed to stage. So at this point, I'm not staged yet, but I'm halfway through the process. I've got the RPMs held, I've got the paddles back, foot is on the brake, and now at this point, I'm slowly easing off the brake pedal just a little bit at a time to kind of roll or bump my way to get fully staged. So then as soon as I see that fully staged light comes on, I stop. And again, now I'm halfway through the process. All I have to do now, let go of one of the paddles, then let go of the brake, and I'm ready to go. Now, hopefully your opponent doesn't get staged first, because if your opponent gets staged first, and you're still bumping up, once you get staged, especially if it's an auto start tree, those lights are gonna drop pretty quick. So in that little bit of time, you need to come to a complete stop, let go of paddle, let go of the brake, and then be ready, and then let go of the paddle and hit the gas. all within, we're talking sometimes not even a second, like splits, like half a second. Like, it's pretty quick. But the real question is all of this worth it? A lot of people think the Transbrake gives us a big advantage. And when comparing a regular Scat to a 1320, you'll hear a lot of people say that the 1320 is only quicker because of the Transbrake. In reality, there's a lot of other things going on for that, like the higher stall torque converter for one. The Transbrake, though, isn't really doing much there. So I did a little test to compare. Now, I've been racing this car since 2020. In that time, I've won a lot of races, including the Modern Street Hemi Shootout Series Championship a couple years ago. I've also set record times in this car, most recently a 1087 quarter mile, which is quicker than any untuned 392 anywhere. In fact, it is the only untuned 392 to even break into the 10s. Although there is one guy who is capable of doing it, he just needs to get out to the track in the right weather to actually put the official number down. But anyway, all that to say, I've got real world experience. And over time, I've come to know what launch method works best for what scenario. Transbrake aside, I found have many other 1320 owners that simply launching off idle or flashing the converter will always net a better result and a better 60 foot than foot braking it at a higher RPM. And I've done enough launches both ways to know it's not even close. Put simply, every single time I've set a new best or new record, it has been launching off idle. So for this test, I decided to compare using the Transbrake with an idle launch. And some of you may have actually already seen the runs I'm about to show you. And that's because I did these at this year's Legion of Demons event, which I actually already released a full-length video on showing everything from that weekend. So first up, I'm going to show you the idle launch. And yes, I do have a whole lot of cameras, including one I put behind my feet, so you can see what's going on with the pedals. And I'll say this, even when launching off idle, I still use both feet. And that's because you want as little delay as possible when you launch. So you want your right foot already on that gas pedal, ready to just slam it down. You don't want to be like moving over and all that. So let's go ahead and watch this run. All right, this one, we're just going to go shallow as possible and off idle. My 0 to 60 says 2.7. Now that was my first run of the final day of the event. And I didn't want to just turn around and hot lap it, because even if I'm launching exactly the same, what I found is when I hot lap it, that second run is always slower every single time. So I want to make it a little bit more fair, so I did let the car sit and cool down for a little bit. And so now let's take a look at the Transbrake run. We're almost an hour now since that first run, so this will be second. Again, the wind is still doing what it's doing, so we're just gonna shallow stage, off idle, or actually, you know what, maybe I'll do Transbrake. So Transbrake, both paddles, brake, rev up, bump to pre-stage, let go of a paddle, let go of a brake, and then go. So you know what, let's try that. Let's see what happens. Now let's compare the two time slips. Again, the first run being launching off idle and the second run being the Transbrake run. Now right off bat, I'm going to tell you, we can ignore the reaction times because I was not concerned about reaction times and they have absolutely no bearing whatsoever on the other times on the slips. But as you can see here, the idle launch beats out the Transbrake launch in literally every single metric on the slip. Better 60 foot, better 330, better eighth mile trap, and better ET and trap speed, although barely on the trap speed, but still better. Now, if there were one spot that the Transbrake would help, you would assume that to be the 60 foot time, because that's what tells you how good you launch, is that it's all in that 60 foot time. But as you can see here, that idle launch beat it with a 1.538 over a 1.541. Now, I'll just say this now, up to this point, After years of racing, up until this run, this 1:5:38 was the best and quickest 60-foot time I ever had in this car. Now I say up until this time because later on this day, I actually had 2 runs that beat it out. A 1:52 and what is my current best ever 60-foot, a 1:51, both also launching off of idle. And that's not even to mention the very final run of the day, which is where I ran my 1087 record, which again was off idle. Now you might ask, what about the weather? Well, it just so happens that I took screenshots from Air Density Online of the exact conditions immediately after both runs. And as you can see, yes, overall the conditions were a little bit better for the first run, which makes sense, it was earlier in the day, but barely. I mean, if we were not nitpicking down to the tiniest details, most people would be like, it's exactly the same. I mean, it's so close that if you didn't see the numbers, if you were just out there standing and you were out there for each one of these times, you would not be able to tell any difference whatsoever in the weather. But for the sake of argument, let's just say that it did make a little difference. As minor as those differences are, and as close as they are, then at best, this Transbrake run would be identical to the idle run. And I don't think, looking at this data, you can make a case to where the Transbrake run could have been even quicker than idle run. And even if you could, it would be so little that you'd have to say, is it worth going through all them steps to achieve? And the problem is, because as I mentioned briefly earlier, there is a lot of room for error. And in these cars, if it doesn't like something, it will kick you out and it will make you pay for it. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to show you what happens when things don't go perfect. Because here's the thing, if we had time, then sure, do it. But we don't. We have a tree to worry about. We have a reaction time to worry about. If you're just testing, again, nothing to worry about, no problem. If you're racing with a Sportsman or full tree, and that is where you, once you get stage, it drops each amber individually. So it's yellow, 1, 2, 3, green, go. That little bit of time between those dropping is almost enough for you to get fully set. On a pro tree though, once you're staged, it's all 3 ambers green, bam, you got to get out of there. And that is very little time to make sure everything is set up perfect. I mean, miss a step, go too quick between them, or fail to maintain the RPMs, and this is what's going to happen. So if you look close at the dash, you could see that in that run, the error it gave me, it said speed too high. Now again, in this situation, this event, they're running a 400 Pro tree. That's practically instant green. And I'm working on trying to get a good reaction time with that. And so I think what happened here is, as I was creeping up to get staged, as soon as I saw that stage light come on, I hit the brake to stop and then immediately let go of one pedal and then let go of the brake pedal so that I could be ready to go. But I think I went from stopping for staging to letting go of that pedal so fast that the car thought I was still moving. But that is a case of going through things too fast because I'm trying to get a good reaction on a 400 Pro tree. So now I'm going to show you another failure. And just for a little additional context, this next run was my very next run after the one you just saw. So same day, same tracks, pretty much same conditions. I'm going through the steps exactly the same. And this one you're about to see is my third run of the day. In my first one, I actually did use the Transbrake successfully and with a 222 reaction time. Now I know 222 isn't that great, but considering it's not horrible either. So I had one run successful, second run speed too high, and now this run. So now this time it said pedal or paddles released too early. Now I know I went in the right order. I know I did everything the right way, and I did things pretty much exactly how I was doing the previous 2 times. So I think this is yet another case of I tried going through the steps way too quick where the car couldn't keep up with what I was doing, and it just registered that I let go of the paddles. Now, those were just two of the possible failures. I'm sure there's others, but I don't really have any intention of finding out what other errors you can get, because honestly, it's just not worth it. It doesn't give you any advantage. It hasn't helped performance in any way for me at all, ever. And it's not worth the risk, especially in competition. That said, it is kind of fun to use. It's like a video game. And when you get it right, it feels good. It feels awesome. But again, the only time to really do that is during testing, when reaction time doesn't matter, or when losing doesn't matter. And after years of being on forums and 1320 specific Facebook groups, that's pretty much the general consensus. Now, there are a few people, few holdouts that still believe that the Transbrake does help performance, but they have yet to prove it or show proof of it. And then on top of that, there is one specific person who has come out and said he has gotten the whole process down perfectly. He's got it down to within some ridiculous amount of time, which maybe he has. But then when I ask, have you done it in real competition with the Pro Tree, I've never gotten a response back ever. So the one person who claims that they've got the process down has never actually done a competition that I know of. Maybe they have and they just never saw my question. I don't know, but I have yet to see any actual physical proofs, numbers on paper, on Timeslips that show it helps. And I'm not talking draggies or street races. None of that counts. We need real Timeslips with real data, real numbers to know whether or not that's true. After years of racing this car and all the runs I've done, all the different ways I've launched, every time I've tried to use a Transbrake, it has never given me anything better than I couldn't do going off idle. And so if you're comparing and having to use a Transbrake that has all these steps, any one of which could get you kicked out if you screw up, versus something as simple as slamming the gas off idle, which one would you choose? I mean, clearly, there's a reason I do one way for when I'm chasing times, and then Transbrake only when I'm testing or just curious, see what would happen. Because, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe, I don't know. If you think I am, comment down below. You know, I try to limit my opinions to being based on facts. So I actually want to do a Transbrake video a long time ago, but I want to get more experience, more runs, more data to try and, you know, get more backing for what I'm going to say, what my feelings are. And I'm going to keep trying. I'm not going to stop trying, because again, it's fun to use when you get it right. And I'm not getting rid of Skeletor here anytime soon, or really ever. So I'm going to have a lot more chances to race her. And there are going to be other times when I will use a Transbrake just to try things out. And in the meantime, throw me a like if you enjoyed this video. Or even a dislike if you hated it and think I'm an idiot. I mean, I'll take the engagement either way. And subscribe if you want to see more of Skeletor here. But regardless, I'll see you at the drag strip.